think he's just trying to dig out a fight, like he's saying a lot of crap, and it's just I really respect his fights, the way he's come up and everything, but he's being very disrespectful now, and he's saying a lot of things that he shouldn't.
Yo guys, welcome to MMA Nights. The latest talk of the MMA town is that Ilia Topuria recently said that he only wants to fight Islam Makhachev or Charles Oliveira next.
Charles, te quiero preguntar, ¿crees que Ilia Topuria, después de dejar su título, su cinturón vacante, se merece ir directamente a por el título de Islam Makhachev?
Creio que o Ilia é cara duríssimo, merece todo o respeito no mundo. Conheci agora em evento que teve, e é cara que tem coração muito gigante, pero não acho que quando sai de uma categoria você merece lutar direto pela outra, pelo título. Pero tem muitos caras que estão peleando em busca desse título, então cara chegar e furar fila.
Topuria recently called out both Islam and Oliveira, making it clear that they're the only two opponents he's interested in. Speaking at a press conference in Spain, he stated that all his training is focused on them because no one else matters. However, he doesn't think either of them is willing to take the fight, suggesting their reluctance is a symptom of fear, not that he blames them, as he'd be hesitant too.
Que hemos podido ver es primero que Makhachev no se abre del todo a pelear contigo, quizás porque tenga algún tipo de...
¿Tiene miedo? Claro que tiene miedo, por supuesto. Es como, siempre es una pelea fácil hasta que te ponen el nombre en el contrato, ¿no? Así que todos lo sabemos. Si fuera tan fácil y si fuera tan enano como él dice, ya compartiría el octógono conmigo, ¿no? Por algo no quiere. Yo lo entiendo, así que está bien. Súbete hacia arriba. No pasa nada.
However, Oliveira has said that he has no interest in fighting Topuria and wants to fight for the title only. Oliveira's road to redemption in the UFC lightweight division might be a bit bumpier than he'd like. Topuria, who's been racking up feathers in his cap at featherweight, decided it's time to play in the big boys. And not just that, he wants to face the Dagestani champion. All of this drama has led Oliveira to be left watching as someone else may jump the line again.
So yeah, I mean, we're coming out of a great fight. I had the issue with my arm there, but essentially, I'm really looking for a title fight now. It's been a lot of work that I've put into it, 15 years with the UFC, and essentially just waiting for a phone call. That's it.
We all know Oliveira isn't one to shy away from adversity. While others may start complaining about UFC politics, he's taking a more measured approach, albeit one with a touch of frustration. In a recent interview with Ariel Helwani, Oliveira made it clear that his focus isn't on the politics of matchmaking, but on the belt. If Topuria gets the chance to face Makhachev, Oliveira will bide his time, stay ready, and wait for his turn. After all, he's been doing this long enough to know that the wheels of the UFC grind slowly.
Would you be upset, would you be disappointed, Charles, if he fights for the belt next? He and his team have said, we didn't drop the 45 belt to just fight a contender fight. We fought at 45 as champion. We're going to fight for the belt at 55 for the championship. Would you be disappointed if that's the way it ends up?
The bottom line is Makhachev is the guy that has to be beat. So, you know what? If he's the next one to fight him, then so be it. I'm just an employee here. You know what? If he's given the chance and not me, I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep preparing, and I'm going to keep waiting for my turn to come around. But it is what it is. I don't think much about it. I'm just an employee here. I'll fight whoever comes to fight me, and that's about it.
It's easy to sympathize with Oliveira's frustration. The guy's been fighting for over 15 years in the UFC, has clawed his way to the top, and is now trying to work his way back into title contention. He has a solid 2-1 record since his loss to Makhachev in 2022, wins over Beneil Dariush and Chandler, with a split decision loss to Tsarukian sandwiched in between. Many, including Oliveira himself, thought his win over Chandler would automatically set up the long-awaited rematch with Makhachev. But UFC matchmaking isn't always as logical as we'd like to think. Oliveira's been left on the outside, watching as Topuria's stock keeps rising.
We saw that if I won that fight, that would be the natural route of things to go. I did a great job there, won all rounds, and the person to beat now, it's gonna have to be me. It's Charles Oliveira.
Let's face it, the UFC lightweight division has no clear frontrunner at the moment. Islam Makhachev is the champion, but the contenders are muddled at best. Tsarukian, who is on the cusp of a title shot, has to work his way back into the mix after the injury. Justin Gaethje looked good against Rafael Fiziev. This leaves Oliveira in the awkward position of feeling like he's already paid his dues, but now has to wait his turn as Topuria might just leapfrog him. Dana White's decision-making in this case isn't going to be easy. Someone's going to be unhappy, and the UFC boss will have to make a call. Will he go with the established Oliveira, who already holds a win over Gaethje and is a former champion? Or will he gamble on the rising star in Topuria, a fighter who has an undefeated record and is riding high after consecutively knocking out Volkanovski and Holloway? Whatever the choice, it's going to create some bad blood, and if Oliveira doesn't get the shot, he won't waste time grumbling. He'll be back in the gym, continuing his preparation, and waiting for his opportunity.
So again, to me, it all comes down seeking the title. If it's not Islam, maybe BMF. There's a lot of talk about Poirier fighting somebody else, Islam going up. I don't know. I can't concern myself with all these things. All I got to do is prepare myself and be ready when it comes to time.
In an ideal world, Oliveira's return would happen at UFC 317 during International Fight Week, where he could either challenge for the undisputed lightweight title or, if he's really feeling bold, go for the BMF belt. It's a title shot he feels he deserves. But even if the UFC opts for Topuria, Oliveira isn't about to sit around crying about it. He's focused on the long game, with his eyes firmly fixed on the belt. Moreover, he could match number 1 ranked Sarukian and avenge his loss, which would for sure make him next in line then.
One other name I wanted to ask you about, because it seemed like some people thought maybe it would be you and Arman Sarukian in a rematch. You fought at UFC 300. Is that a fight that interests you? Would you like to get that one back?
I understand that, but not at this time. Like I said, I respect him. I respect his style, his fighting. But right now, I'm seeking the title. That's the fight that I want. I want to fight for the title. That's it.
Now, let's talk about Topuria for a minute. The dude's got a lot of hype right now. He's the former featherweight champion, and now he's got his eyes on the lightweight title. Topuria may have the skills to back it up. He's got an impressive knockout streak and his wrestling is no slouch either. But he's been causing a stir with his verbal jabs at Oliveira. While Oliveira remains calm and collected in interviews, Topuria hasn't hesitated to mock him and even question his fight IQ. Topuria has accused Oliveira and Makhachev of dodging him, but Oliveira isn't having any of it. Sure, he respects Topuria's skills, but he doesn't appreciate the disrespect coming from the undefeated fighter.
Ilia Topuria vacating his title and moving up, and since you made those remarks about wanting to be next, very convincingly, he responded via Twitter, and he said this: Charles, it's better if you stay quiet. You have 10 losses, 5 by knockout, 4 by submission, and 1 by decision. You are the contender, while I am the champion, the father of the entire division. I haven't come here to ask anything. Here I am, the one in charge. What was your reaction when you heard this from Ilia?
There's not much I can say about that. It's been 15 years again, in the UFC, respecting everybody. I've said it already. My story is written there. Everybody can see it. He's coming from a champion in the feather division, and now just trying to come up and show all this. But I have firepower on my wrists, and I'm really focused on the belt itself. It's not about who's going to be on my way, but getting the belt.
So, what about this fight everyone's talking about? Islam versus Topuria. A battle for the ages. A clash of titans. The kind of fight that could very well define the lightweight division for years to come. The hype is real for this one, especially considering that Volkanovski, who's fought both men, is somewhat leaning towards Topuria to pull off the upset. Volk has said that Topuria might struggle if the fight goes long, but he has a puncher chance, considering how good his boxing ability is.
I think Islam's going to be a tough matchup for him because Islam can be quite defensive and safe. I think he's going to know he needs to play it safe with Ilia because he knows Ilia is going to have that puncher's chance. But I just think them later rounds, is going to be very difficult for Ilia. So, but Ilia can, if he puts hands on anyone, like if he traps them, gets them where they don't want to be and lands a nice big shot, it's going to be game over. He can knock out anyone, even in the lightweight division.
In the end, it's clear that the UFC lightweight division is as exciting as it is unpredictable. Oliveira is patiently waiting, but he's got a fiery competitor in Topuria, who's ready to make a name for himself at 155 pounds. Whether it's Makhachev or Topuria who gets the shot, it's safe to say that the next few months in the lightweight division will be nothing short of entertaining. So what do you think about this situation? Do let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and leave a like for more MMA content like this.